Indeed, you're watching Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migo. Welcome to People and Politics segment this 13th day of May 2025. A lot has happened in the political scene, and also there's a lot that has been reported on our local dailies, and I want to quickly take you through that before I introduce my guests. And I will start with the Daily Nation. The enemy within is what is captured on the front page of the Daily Nation. In a rare public disclosure, the National Intelligence Service Director General Nurdin Haji yesterday said the country must be told the brutal truth about the magnitude of national security threats posed by foreign militia. The spy chief said, with the exception of country's border with Tanzania, Kenya is battling incursions by insurgents along the porous borders with Ethiopia, Uganda, South Sudan, and Somalia. That story is told on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. Blow to Gachagua as allies abandon him despite scoring a big win in his bid to overturn his impeachment by Parliament. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has to contend with defections that have rocked his camp recently. That story is told on page 7 of the Daily Nation. On the front page of the Star, grand rematch. This is what is captured on the front page of the Star newspaper. Uhuru shadow looms large in new battle against Ruto. That story is told on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper. President Ruto's legacy projects in limbo as debt chokes budget. President William Ruto's grand vision for Kenya is teetering on the edge as the crushing weight of the country's public debt threatens to derail his most ambitious promises. Fresh budget disclosures reveal Kenya is set to spend 1.9 trillion in the next financial year solely on debt repayment. Read that story on page 6 of the Star newspaper. How taxman is using AI to scan cargo at Kenya border point. That story is told on page 7. Climate smart farming transforming lives in Tharaka Nithi County. That story is told on page 9 of the Star newspaper. On the front page of the Standard newspaper, repressive regime. This is what is captured on the front page of the Standard. In its latest review, the UN has delivered a scathing rebuke to President Ruto's administration over its use of retrogressive tactics, including extrajudicial killings, abductions, and forced disappearances, and curbs on civic space and constitutionally guaranteed freedoms. While previous governments under Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta faced criticism, the current regime stands accused of flying the flag of outright abuse. That story is told on page 2, 3, and 4 of the Standard newspaper. That is what is captured on our local dailies. And now I'm joined by Wakili Ken Odhiambo, advocate of the High Court. Welcome to the program. And also Patrick Osoi, who is a security, politics, leadership and governance expert. Karibu sana.
Asante.
And also Joab Konji Kwayo, who is also aspiring to be the next MP from Mbeere North. Karibu sana to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
So let me start with you actually. Yeah. Why is that important for you?
Running for Member of Parliament for Mbeere North is important to me because I've been community service for the last, I think, 7 years now.
Yes.
So I would say it's a calling.
Yeah. Patrick Osoi, you
Yes.
have ambitions too.
Absolutely, and I'm happy that I'm sitting to a potential aspirant.
Yeah.
And in any case, he does not have a political party. We are going to talk about it. And we see the vision that he has for the Mbeere North is actually one of the places that I want to make sure that we display the young and youthfulness, reality on the politics.
Yeah.
At the same time, I want to say that I'm running for the Kenyan 60th president. I am not in the opposition. I believe in oversight. So I don't oppose the government.
Yes.
I oversee the government. We tell them what they're supposed to do and what no they're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that's Patrick Osoi.
Yes. Ogili, how about you?
Yeah, not yet. We are still engaging with the people at different levels.
Yes.
When the time is right, we'll make that decision.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's been a minute since we saw each other here on Good Morning Kenya.
Yes, true.
You've been well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get a feel of your sentiments on this headline, especially when it comes to the headline on the Daily Nation, the enemy within. In a rare public disclosure, the National Intelligence Service Director General Nurdin Haji yesterday said the country must be told the brutal truth about the magnitude of national security threats posed by foreign militia. I will start with you, Patrick, because this is your field. What's your take on this?
Once again, my name is Patrick Osoi, the sixth, if you want to call me that. And I want to say that I'm a member or I'm a retired Special Force soldier in KDF. And I also served in the National Intelligence Service of our country. So the issues that are addressed in that page actually personally touches me. And actually the first thing that I saw was a tweet that I would want to read from Honorable Salah Yukub, an MP. And this is what he says: where the intelligence of this country, like where is the intelligence of this country? No informers recruited in the field, monies meant for informers going to secondary teachers, politically correct elders, former MCAs, county employees, and even militia in Somali. Mandera is crying, Garissa is crying, no relationship with the communities in AS phone areas, politicizing the recruitment of NPR and Masawarsre by the intel community, PESA for equipping SOGs, and QUs going to support militia in Raskaboni. We demand some seriousness from this government in combating Al-Shabaab. I want to say this morning that we have decided to politicize everything. And I want to say for the last many years, this country has never prioritized security agencies in this country. And most of the problems that we have had since the foundation of this country has been less concern or less concentration on our security agencies. And I want to tell this country that any country is defined by economic power, military power, and satellite power. So when you talk of military power, it means that a security agency's power. So if we cannot concentrate actually on our security agencies in this country, we forget about economic power. And much of the problem we have, even camping corruption in this country, is due to less concentration on the security agencies in this country. So when I saw the video from Director General Nurdin Haji, who used to be my assistant director then at Counterintelligence, is a man who is very quiet. If he speaks, I can tell you for a fact, his speech was addressed to either to the National Security Council or to the president himself. And that means to me that he has gotten to a place where probably he's talking and telling the National Security Council or the president what needs to be done, and it's not done. The other day, I also observed a whole Inspector General of Police being hurled some once by a politician in a political rally. And it is the high time for security agencies in this country to understand and to know they have to stand firm and they have to join together. And if need be, if the government cannot listen to the queries of what they have, then an action needs to be taken. Because one, we cannot jeopardize the security of our country at an expense of politicians. What I'm saying is that I have direct complaint from my colleagues that I used to work with, because you will always get those things because I'm now in the political space. So most of the cries it's given to people like us to speak them out. And I want to say that there has been a cry. At one point, I actually mistook our top bosses in the security agencies, including my Director General, Nordin Haji, and the CDF of Kenya Defence Forces. And I felt that they had failed to some extent actually to voice out the stand and where this country is supposed to go. And my take this morning and my advice to them this morning is to stand firm with no yes, yes sir, yes sir. The country, and especially the president, has to be told the truth so that now we do not jeopardize the security of this country. I want to tell you, the members of parliament that come from extremities of this country, especially borders, I am telling you, for an MP to talk about this is something that is beyond repair. And as my last comment, I want to say this, and the government of the day need to listen. And I've said I don't oppose the government. We oversight the government. And in the future, we need to deviate from opposition and we get into oversighting the government so that we tell the government what to do and what not to do. And because the success of this country, the success of William Ruto is the success of every human being or every citizen of this country. So I cannot just to come to oppose him to fail because I'm running for Kenyan president. No, it is my patriotic obligation to make sure that I advise the government of the day the way it's supposed to do. Right now, as we talk, sir, it's a very serious thing in the security issues today. Today, when I joined the Kenya Defence Forces, people we never used to pay taxes. We were provided with food and everything. Today, what we are hearing is that Kenya Defence Forces, actually even the privileges of food was taken from them. That not being said, when we go to National Intelligence Service, right now, forget about the informers who are supposed to help in collecting intelligence in this country. We are talking about the officers of National Intelligence Service not being paid their dues, and especially something we call task force money to gather intelligence or to conduct the intelligence of this country. A country that does not prioritize security, it is a failed country. And let me tell you, that should be the priority than anything else. All
right. Joab, has this issue been in some way politicized?
I would. This issue is so fresh. It just came up in the air, and I must say it's a critical issue because security is a core thing. Is a core thing in the running of a country, and if you're not funded, you cannot be able to work the way you're supposed to work. So basically, the points being raised, I would say, are valid points of underfunding. And what I may want to mention is, as we talk about underfunding, remember in this country we've been here. We know where we have come from. For example, in terms of debt, we know where we have come from in terms of cost of living. For example, things are just becoming easier. And what I would say on my side is considerations of instead of saying we need an additional dollar, we can also look at aspects of the efficiency of using the dollar that we already have. I'm saying that from a background of efficient systems that are run even in other countries, where it is not necessarily budget heavy, but it is so efficient that the country is getting the security that it needs. I'm coming from a point, I spent my initial years of my career in Rwanda. Rwanda is one of the most secure countries in the world, you may say. Used to walk around the streets, midnight, anytime. But it's not the investment security that has made this possible. It is the efficiency of deploying the security systems. For example, if you look at what we are trying to achieve today, the Nyumba Kumi initiative, the flow of information through intelligence, it is too solid, spending too little, but so effective to get the security of the country. So what I would say is, as we look at budgetary additions, let us look at the efficiency of the monies that are already allocated in security.
Indeed. Wakili, you know, Director General is not a person who appears before parliamentary committees very often. But this time round, there was even the presence of the media. How would you say, is the situation that bad?
No, for me, I find everything wrong with it because the principal advisor on matters of security, the president, advises the president. So I think these are issues. What he has done is an insecurity in itself. If people can now know that even our NIS now do not have the ability to detect security issues as it should under the Constitution and under the act that creates it. So really, I think this should have been handled where it should have been, not at the media level where now we know that, in fact, first, Kenyans are not feeling safe. That is one. Two, the reason we have NIS, because now they are behaving like police. NIS should have given us intelligence information. But now where they have reached, they are also giving our would-be attackers private information that, you know, we have no capacity.
So in a way, you feel like this exposed the country?
I don't know I don't know the wisdom behind what they have done, because actually it exposes the country to attacks, because now you've told your opponent that have no capacity to detect what you want to do. We have nothing, we are underfunded, we are porous from all sides, and you are telling everybody. Now it is on the front page. So I think that would have been, I think some things belong to a memoir. They don't belong to consumption by the public, or because now, if he told us maybe 10 years later how the situation was when he was acting in that capacity as Director General, then we would understand. But if he's the sitting Director General, who is is with the sole work of getting intelligence and then finding a way of getting countermeasures, and he's saying openly that we now lack capacity, we may not be able to handle what we're supposed to do under the Constitution and under the Act of Parliament. We are also not doing our role properly as the principal advisor to the President. So I think maybe they wanted a reaction from the right places, but I think in my view it is very ill-advised coming from NIS. It's like police have gone for Mandamano or the army. You know, that, you know, this has happened. Even that time, like our colleague has said, that the army is no longer being given, I don't know, food, I don't know, some things are not being given. Now, if the army would come out openly and start laying what they have missed and why the country is now at risk because they're not getting 1, 2, 3, that, you know, we have old weapons, we can't fight back. What are you trying to communicate? I think it's a very wrong communication to members of the public and to even people who would be interested in hurting the country. Yeah.
But do you think also it's a call for help from the powers that be, that we need this?
You know, people have heard that the government of the day does not listen. And it is taken like it's just casual. And I want to say this. We have facilities in this country, facilities that we have used to train other countries within our borders. And I want to say our standards as Kenyan operators, or the Kenyan Defense Forces, or Kenyan intelligence, or Kenyan police, I want to say, in comparison to our neighbors or people who might be of threat, even if we are having retrogressive approach in security matters, I can attest and say that we are better off than any other person within the East Africa. By the time I was training as a special force soldier, we were being told that Uganda was also catching up with our training, that the first approach of what we were given. So we were told that Uganda had already embraced that kind of training. So, but that not being said, that I want to tell Kenyans and the country at large that our security forces, even if we have an retrogressive approach, we are still on the higher end in comparison to our neighbors. So that not being said, we have a training area that I may not disclose, But that area right now, as I'm being informed, is that people are going there for leisure because it was built for training. And before, this training area used even actually to give the government some, you know, when we train other countries, of course we have to sell them some other things, weapons and ammunitions. But right now what we are seeing is that the area is actually isolated. And what is being used for is some top government officials and other people who have no profile in this country going to that place and having leisure in that place. And I want to say this, and I want to have this call to the Director General and to the Kenya Defence Forces, because it's an area that is used for that reasons. That they should be strict. Let us not compromise the standards of security in this country. It does not matter who, but the standards has to be kept. And if it is the truth, has to be laid on the table. And the fact that our Director General, Nordina Haji, spoke, I want to tell you, it is beyond reproach. It is something that probably the intelligence are already trying to pose. I am aware. 2012, there was a discussion that was laid and went through the National Intelligence Service, even to increase salaries for police, to increase salaries for Kenya Defence Forces. But guess what happens? It was taken to the parliament. And these people in the parliament who do not understand what it is to have a solid security of a country, they decided to, you know, to say, you know, when we pay our police officers nicely or Kenya Defence Forces nicely, these people watakuwa kichwa ngumu. But what I want to say is that it is a high time for this country to look and see what is important, what is the priority. But what I can tell them, security is not a joke. And that is why we are suffering as a country. Because, and that is why, one of the reasons I decided to run for Kenyan presidency, because there's a lot of jokes around. People have ran away from the discipline. They have not ran away from understanding the call for a country having secure borders.
Now we talk about something different, and it regards the nominations of IEBC commissioners by the president. The names have been forwarded to Parliament for vetting. So, and also it has elicited quite a number of responses from the political class, with Kalonzo Musyoka saying the due process was not followed. Even also the ELOG have also cast doubts on the process. But the biggest question here is, are their views or sentiments valid? That is what we are going to tackle right about now. And Joab, I want to start with you. Erastus Ethekon was the one who was nominated to head that commission, or to be the chair of the IEBC. First of all, what do you make of these appointments?
Thank you, Mike. For me, where I stand right now, I may say this is expected. It is expected that the appointments for the IEBC commissioners must elicit, of course, reactions from the parties, the competing parties. Of course, if the judge is not fair, who is the Electoral Commission, you don't stand a chance to be able to get a fair hearing. So basically, I would say, looking at how the process went, yes, there's reason for the opposition, for example, to raise questions and raise suspicions of the executive having a hand in the selection, basically because of the addition of the 6 names that came after the shortlisting was done. But when you look at it from a technical perspective, the panel that is charged with shortlisting is still the panel that did the shortlisting. So what I can say is the